Hey everyone, I want to welcome you back to day number 9 of the Marketing to Millionaires Profit Intensive. I am so thrilled to be here with you today to introduce you to some of my most favoriteest people on the planet, my fellow Marketing to Millionaires experts. So I'm going to kind of go around the horn and briefly introduce them and then let them give you their own introduction. And I'll tell you a little bit about why I have them here and what we're going to be talking about today. So as you guys know, within our Marketing to Millionaires Business Accelerator, we provide you with access to experts. We are really brilliant at what it is that we do. But there we go. All right, we're really brilliant at what it is that we do, but we don't do it alone. So we are the strategists. We help you get your strategy set. We help you make sure that you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and we give you the basic push starts into how you're doing it. But ultimately, no matter what it is that you're doing, you're going to want to keep going to a new level of mastery. And that is why I have aligned with some of the most phenomenal experts in the marketplace that I have personally vetted that know exactly how to market to affluent clientele. And they're going to be sharing their secrets with you. They're going to be talking about what's working right now, what's not working, and they're going to be giving you some tips as to how you can utilize this information to accelerate your own business. So these are not all of our experts, but we just felt we would keep it a little manageable today. So the first person that I have to introduce you to is Kate Schnetzer. Kate, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. If you guys want to be on video, Kate is your girl. And let me just tell you, if you're marketing to affluent clients, you want to be on video because this is one of the #1 traffic sources for converting affluent clientele, especially if you're using online marketing. Also up, we've got Caitlin Doemner. Caitlin is our VP of sales here. She runs a company called Sales Map, as well as she has an amazing platform called Book of Experts. And she is masterful at relationship-based selling, which is the exact type of selling that you use when you're marketing to affluent clients. So Caitlin, welcome.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I'm excited to dive in.
Yes, absolutely. Also, we've got Nathan Hirsch. We had to get some testosterone here on the panel. So Nathan is our cardinal dude. Nathan actually has run one of the biggest outsourcing platforms in the marketplace. He founded and sold a company called FreeUp. Many of you may have heard of it. And now he runs a company called Outsourcing School. And what Outsourcing School does, hold on, somehow I'm there we go. All right. So Nathan runs Outsourcing School, which if you guys know and you follow my profitology process, I am huge on systemizing and streamlining things and also delegating so that you can really stay in your zone of genius. So we talked about staying in your zone of genius on day 3, and this is part of how you stay in your zone of genius. You delegate the things that are not in your zone of genius and definitely not in your zone of excellence to assistants who can help you. And he's going to talk about how to utilize these assistants to help you build up your and reach out to more affluent clientele. We keep just switching here. I don't know what's going on. It's like, hey, all right, it looks like we might have, oh, look at that. We're fixed. Yes. I love it. Thank you, team. Whoever just did that. I'm like, we're just moving. All right. And also last, but definitely not least, my sister from another mister, Miss Bridget Brady. Bridget is the owner of Amp Up Social Media. She is our social media strategist. We work with our agency, not only on my own business, but on several of my clients' businesses to help them reach and really create that brand awareness and conversion with affluent clients on social. Miss Bridget, welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. All right, you guys. So What questions, by the way, do you have for these amazing individuals? You are going to want to drop them down below in the comments and make sure you tag them because they are all in the Marketing to Millionaires circle. So guys, let's talk a little bit about what's working. What are you seeing right now as far as the trends in your own business and in your clients' businesses as far as marketing to affluent clientele? Don't all speak at once.
Where do you want us to start?
Okay, go ahead, Caitlin, you start.
So in terms of selling, because that's my area of focus is sales, I think the biggest thing for you guys to realize is that there is more money in this economy than there has ever been in any economy ever, right? So there is just so much money that has been pumped in for good, better or worse. It is being pumped into the economy right now, and it is available especially to small business owners. So there's the PPP loan, there's the IDL loan, but honestly, there are more people who are getting more wealthy in the last 9 to 10 months than at any other period since probably the last recession. So you have to remember that wealth is like energy. It's not really created or destroyed, it just flows, right? So it's flowing from some and flowing to others. And so focusing on an affluent market is absolutely going to be your best strategy right now, because the people who have money are eager to invest it in things that matter. They understand that right now, it's like a wave that's pulling back from the shore, but the bigger the pullback, the bigger the wave, right? You know that when a tsunami is coming, it looks like tide is gone, right? So it really is, you have to recognize that the tide is pulling out, but the wave that crashes, when it crashes, is going to be bigger than anything we've ever ridden before. So be on your surfboard and be paddling like mad. Get positioned, get targeted, get really clear on the value that you provide to your affluent client base.
I could not agree more. And in fact, I think if you guys have been watching the intensive, you may have heard me say many things very similar to exactly what Caitlin just said. Bridget, what about you? What are you seeing in the social landscape?
Yeah, so to mirror a lot of, right, like we're all sisters from so many misters, and then Nathan. Yeah, sorry, Nathan. So in terms of social media and marketing to affluent clients, it is so important to really position yourself as the go-to expert. Affluent clients don't want to waste their time shopping around and talking to 15 people to try to figure out who to work with and how it's going to work. So I would say on your social media, first of all, it has to look effing amazing. Yeah. Like professional graphics, professional copywriting, everything has to be so on point with your vision and your mission and exactly what you provide, because affluent clients make decisions quickly. Quickly. I could tell you so many stories, and I won't in this moment, but maybe I will as we go, where I have made more money in a 2-minute phone call than I've made in so many other phone calls, because people will say to me, I looked at your website, I looked at your social, you're obviously a pro, send me a contract. Like, let's just do this. They don't want to have 10 hours of conversation about it. They just want to get it done. So on your social media, and we can dig deeper into this, it has to look amazing, it has to feel amazing, and you have to be positioned as the go-to expert.
I love it. So we're going to go over to Kate and talk about utilizing video, because again, as I said before, video is paramount. In fact, I know that there are brand new members of the Marketing Millionaires Business Accelerator that found me not only through my podcast, but they also found me, and we're just like, oh yeah, baby. And they also found me through my video. Okay. So Kate, let's talk about the use of video and what are people doing right and wrong in marketing to affluent clients.
So what's interesting about right now is that it's created this kind of, everything with COVID created this kind of space for a lot of people to go into consulting and coaching and this expert space and really start to come out online in a way that they hadn't really done before, even if they were transitioning from like a brick and mortar and going online. So there's a lot of noise, right, online. And so where we used to be able to just kind of throw out any kind of video and get a ton of traction, now things need to be well thought out. They need to have a strategy. There need to be campaign goals that they are reaching, but it also needs to look, sound, and be structured in a way that shows your level of credibility, your level of thought leadership, and that you are the go-to expert, that everything, just like your graphics need to look great, like Bridget was saying, just like your branding needs to look great, everything needs to be cohesive, so does your video. And if you look like you're, 13 making a video for TikTok, then it's not going to position you in the way that's going to make you the go-to expert, especially with an affluent buyer. So not only do you need to show up like the expert and present yourself like it, everything that's in that frame with you when you're on video needs to reflect that as well.
Amen. Amen. And then last but definitely not least, Mr. Nathan, what are you seeing in the marketplace and how people are, especially because like now's the time, as Caitlin and everyone has said, now is the time. I am hiring people at a rapid rate for the wave, right? And I've got multiple surfboards in the water. So what are you seeing as far as, the outsourcing market goes and even things you're doing in your own business?
Yeah, so there's kind of two sides of it, right? I think the first side is a hiring side. And it's important to remember that COVID has affected companies in different ways. A lot of companies have grown and are hiring more, but a lot of companies have gone out of business and let go of very good people. So it's never been a better time to, if you're ready to hire, find good talent. That we just hired a sales rep who was let go from Verizon, who was making cuts. We hired them. They now do phone calls. They're located in the Philippines, very high level virtual assistant. And we probably got a cheaper price than if we had done it pre-pandemic. On the flip side, going after affluent clients, you have to remember everyone's doing the same thing right now. They're spending more time on Netflix, more time on social media. They're at home, they're working, they're focusing on their business. There's not too much else to do. All the conference traveling, the exotic vacations, those are all on pause. So the outreach that you and I have talked about in the past, the reaching out to podcast hosts, to potential leads, to clients, to partnerships, to blogs, you're getting a much higher response rate to set up even preliminary networking calls. People that wouldn't have had any time for you before are now open to it because they really just don't have anything else to do. So it's time to put more into hiring virtual assistants, to do that more consistent outreach. There'll still be people that reject you. There'll still be people that ignore you, but everyone's sitting at home and has extra time, which they might not have 6 months from now.
I love that. And I am with you. I mean, we are expanding our marketing. We're expanding our social selling platform. We are expanding, we're expanding all the things. We are rebranding. I mean, this is for companies that are positioned correctly or emerging organizations. This is such a tremendous opportunity to grow. What do you see as the thing where like you're watching it happen in the market, and as someone who, as people who are running, 7+ figure brands, as experts who understand what actually works in the market and marketing to affluent clients, what is the thing that you're kind of seeing that you might be shaking your head a little and being like, oop, that's not going to work out?
You ready for my unpopular opinion?
Oh, I love it. I love an unpopular opinion. I probably have a few of those in my pocket too.
So the whole Clubhouse craze right now that's going on, and I'm kind of treating it more like I would a podcast, where I'll show up on a scheduled block, scheduled day, scheduled time to do a Clubhouse with someone. And yeah, it's great. Maybe you'll get in front of people that you wouldn't have gotten in front of before. Who knows what it'll look like in 6 months. But I always like to remind people, like, is it really a long-term strategy to growing your business? Or is it one of those things that the second you stop moving, the second you stop spending 8 hours a day on Clubhouse, your business doesn't grow? So I'd much rather invest in VAs who are going to do consistent outreach, or Facebook ads, or YouTube ads, or things that are long-term going to help my business, rather than something that's not evergreen or that's going to require me to spend hours and hours and hours with no strategic long-term plan. I know their app can change. I know it's the phase right now, and there's a lot of people on it, but also kind of reverting to my older point, all those people that are hanging out on Clubhouse right now, the really high level entrepreneurs, they're doing it mostly because they have nothing else to do. In 6 months, when they've been stuck inside for 2 years and they're out traveling the world or attending conferences, I don't know how much time they're actually going to spend on the app. And I could be completely wrong, but that's my personal opinion.
I have a little bit of I have a yes and to that. So I think Clubhouse, I can actually tell you that we have multiple new clients from Clubhouse. And I totally agree that if you are not utilizing it strategically and you are just like, it can either be the greatest time waster. And also I think it can be very confusing to entrepreneurs, because you have to remember that if you're on Clubhouse, if you're sitting there as a participant on Clubhouse, I think that you are, and you're asking experts, these experts are giving you a very skewed view of whatever they can in that 2-minute window that you're up live. They don't know anything about your business. Like, they can give you general advice. And I've already had clients come back to me and said, well, so said to me on Clubhouse that I should do this. And I'm like, right, but did you tell them this, and this? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's why that's not going to work. Right? They didn't know. So they gave you the best advice that they possibly could in that short amount of time. But then for those of you who are speaking, if you don't have a strategy, which, by the way, all of our clients in the Marketing Millionaires Business Accelerator have a Clubhouse strategy, because I wrote it for you, because I wanted to make sure that you actually know how to position yourself and lead generate. And to Nathan's point, it's exactly what I said. I said, we don't know what's happening with this yet. If you're just sitting on there all day long without a plan, you're wasting your time. If you do not have a strategy, you're wasting your time. But if you are going to utilize it, here's a strategy to be able to utilize it. But I do agree with you. And we don't know what's going to happen, because they are going to introduce a monetization strategy, and we don't know what's going to happen when people do go back to starting traveling. I mean, I'm the same way. I can't sit on there all day. I'm doing a room tomorrow, though. Follow me at Kelly O'Neill, but I'm doing a room tomorrow. But my shameless plug. All right. What else, you guys? What else you guys got?
I would love to speak. So when Nathan was talking about strategy, I mean, we're all strategists here. What I am seeing that I'm like, is so many people now are creating these courses, right? These digital courses.
Oh my God.
Look, I have a digital course. I am all about the digital courses. But here's what I'm seeing. They're creating these courses, and then they're like coming out on social, and they're like, buy my course, everybody. Buy my course. Who wants to buy my course? Like, literally, this is what I'm seeing. And so I would love, if this is you, I still love you, but stop it. I would love for you to have a strategy, a funnel, a nurture series, like a strategy around this idea of digital course. And I cannot tell you how many people I talk to, I mean, countless, who are like, I have this $1,400 course, or this $10,000 course, or this whatever it is, $50,000 course. And my next question is always, what's your funnel into that course? And their answer is usually something like, well, I was going to run ads. And I'm like, ads into what? Like, no one, I don't care how much money someone has, no one is going online and buying a $10,000 course from an ad. No one. So,
I mean, are people even buying like $1,000 course from an ad?
I would say that is like the tippy top. If you have a huge following and you're very well known, I think you can sell like a $9.97 from an ad. If you are one of the top well-known experts in your industry and everyone already knows you. But if everyone does not already know you, like if you are not almost a household name within your industry, then it's not going to happen. So that's sort of the thing I'm seeing that's driving me bonkers is no funnel, no strategy.
Do they actually have, I'm just curious, because I already think I know the answer to this question. Do they actually even have appropriate ad budget to drive the traffic, even if they had a funnel?
So yes and no, but there's also this misnomer. So there was a day, but we're no longer in this day. There was a day at the very beginning of like Facebook ads where you could totally acquire leads at like $2 a lead, $3 a lead. Like it was a thing. Those days are gone, my friend. They're gone. It costs more to get high quality leads, but it's okay. I did so many launches last year with my clients, and we spent 5, 10, 20. I did a $50,000 ad spend for a client, but they had a well-honed, proven funnel. They had a system, they had a strategy, and those dollars turned into $100, $200, $300,000 launches. So they got their ROAS, like it happened, but it did not happen from, I built a course and now I'm going to spend $1,000 and run an ad and expect that I'm going to make money. So like it really comes down to strategy and having a proven funnel, and start low, go slow, check your funnel, split test, make sure everything works. And then you can go all in and make a shite ton of money. So, but strategy first.
Also, just to be clear, your affluent clients are not very likely to buy online courses. They want things done for them. So, but yes, that is, I see your point.
I was going to double down on what Bridget was saying, and Kate had said it earlier. There's a lot of noise. There is so much saturation in the coaching and consulting industry because everybody who was a professional is now at home and has finally decided to go launch their side hustle. So people who are actually maybe genuinely more qualified than the people who used to be in the industry are now entering the industry, and you are all competing on the same platforms for the same attention space. And so there is this drive, I'm seeing it in the competitive field, things, courses, programs, whatever you call them, that used to go for $10, $15, or $20,000, I would have recommended selling at $10, $15, and $20,000, are like cutting their prices in half. And it's not because the quality has changed. It's simply a matter of competition in the industry. The industry is shifting. And so Kelly, my recommendation is always, if you have a done for you solution, go big, right? Don't go small. Don't try to sell the $1,000 whatever, sell the $100,000 whatever. Because you sell one of those puppies, you're set. Your cash flow floor is there for the year. Now you can figure out what your $10,000 option is or your $1,000 option. But the small thing should always be last on your development process. Because you need to figure out mastery at the done for you level, right? If you're just getting started, go do it, go get results, then go move into the, let me show you how to get results, and then package it as a program. So like, yes, reverse the funnel, start with the biggest package you can possibly envision or imagine, and then work your way back down to the mini course. I was going to say it's kind of in that line, but the thing that really drives me crazy is this automation. And you see the social media platforms that are coming down on it. LinkedIn just published, you are not allowed to have anybody else working inside of your account. They'd already cracked down on spiders and whatever bot thingies that are working in your account. But so many people are just not tolerating spam. We call them leg humpers, right? They just are not going to tolerate that kind of cold outreach in the same way. You have to humanize it. You have to personalize it. And people are buying experientially. They want to experience something. And maybe it's by video, maybe it's through, we're doing a lot of networking events, but they want to have an experience. So if you can create an experience that makes them feel human, makes them feel seen, makes them feel heard, then you can set them up to really support them at the highest possible level.
I love that. And I'm going to add one thing to what you guys just said, and then we'll also hear from Kate. And that is positioning. This is the thing that drives me the most batshit crazy of all of it, is people have step skipped and they're like, I want to be a this. I want to, whether it's a coach or a consultant. And we in this community serve lawyers and interior designers and, all different types of service-based businesses. But I do see that when people are coming into the marketplace, or they're looking to expand their business, or they're looking to start their business, even if they're coming from corporate, oftentimes what we do is we look to who we love in the marketplace and then we model them. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. It's like, I'm going to totally pick on the real estate industry for a minute, and I'm not going to say names, although you know who they are, but in the real estate industry, a lot of real estate agents get in and then they get into, there's two very popular real estate trainings. The problem that those have, it's really good for teaching new real estate agents. It's really good for teaching them structure and profit habits and things like that. But the very thing that they're teaching them is to all do the same thing. And when you do, look at all the experts are nodding their head. And when you're all doing the same thing, like if you are not standing out, you are invisible. So if you look online and you search the name of the course or the program or the service or whatever, and there are a gazillion people already doing that, then you will not be well positioned, right? If you search marketing to millionaires, I'm coming up, right? I am coming up. I am so well positioned in the marketplace. No one is good. Like my name is associated with it worldwide. And there's a reason for that, because when I started it, no one else was doing that. So there's a way to do that in your industry, but you've got to find out a way to stand out from the crowd.
Well, and that's it. It was funny because when you were saying at the beginning of what you were talking about, that was going to be kind of my pet peeve, that, you know, so we talk to people, you know, we create this high-end video for people, right? This like asset building and things that you can repurpose and use for many different types of things that are done in a really high-end way. But we'll have people come in and they're like, oh, I want to look like this. And they'll send us video of like Jasmine Star, or like people, you know, people dancing around, or people like half dressed on like their IG stories. And I said, well, what's your offer, and what do you do? And they have these high ticket services that they're wanting to put out there. They're wanting to go after affluent clients. They're wanting to do all these things. But what they're trying to do is model people who aren't even going after the same thing because they're big influencers generally in the space, when they're not really thinking about, okay, who do you want to attract and what do you need to create to attract those people? Because this isn't going to be it. You know, if you do want to sell that $47 social media course, then yeah, go do that. But if you want to bring in somebody for $100,000, or you want to have, you know, high touch white glove service, and you're running around like in your bikini every day on these like viral, like reel and TikTok videos. I say TikTok a lot. Then
I love TikTok from a personal standpoint, because I find it totally entertaining, but I'm like, I'm not going on TikTok. No.
And I've seen it done in classy ways. So I think it's possible, but like people are trying to model what everybody else is doing, but those people are marketing to the masses and they're marketing to a totally different clientele. So you have to really understand who you're talking to and who you're trying to attract before you go try to do all the things that all the viral people are doing, because you don't need that anyway. That's not really your goal. And I know that you teach that a lot, is really understanding who you're going after and what they're going to want and be attracted to. So you really got to think about that, especially with video, because a lot of people are going to see what you're doing and a lot of people are going to see it really up close and personal. So you want to make sure that you're representing yourself well.
I think that that's a big distinction that I make with people a lot, is the difference between marketing to affluent clientele. And I know, Kate, you and I have hosted Clubhouse rooms together, Bridget and I have, and I actually do spend quite a bit of time. We're still waiting for Caitlin to get an iPhone. Still. Caitlin, I'm gonna stick to one.
Caitlin, I went out and bought an iPad and an iPhone once Kelly put me on Clubhouse. She's like, I'm gonna invite you. And I was like, oh, I gotta go get iPhones. And so I like upgraded. I got like the watch now.
Fest about my husband. Like, I can't get one because my husband. And Michael's like, I never said that. Yes, I need something. An eye something.
I need something. And Nathan, I gotta get with you, even though you're like, well, we'll do something strategic, Nathan. Like, we won't waste time, I promise.
No, I'm all about it.
I know, I love it. But what we've done a lot of this education, the difference between mass marketing and affluent marketing. And one of the core things that I try to drive home in marketing to the affluent versus mass marketing is we are not building a list. We are generating leads. And there is a huge difference between the two. Caitlin, talk about that, because there's, you know the difference.
Yes. So when we build sales teams for people, they'll tell me, well, I've got like 100,000 people on my list. I'm like, oh, great. How many phone numbers? They're like, oh, I've never collected phone numbers. I'm like, how in the world do you expect to sell them anything high end if you aren't collecting phone numbers? So I would rather you come to me with like a 5,000 list of highly qualified leads who have opted in and are engaged and are opening your emails, and we have a phone number for them, than 100,000 person list, because I'm just going to have to reactivate that and figure out how to get a phone call so that I can sell them something big. So go quality with what you're doing, especially if you're targeting affluent people, right? You need to be focused on like, how do I get into like the yacht clubs where there's like 10 people, not the rave where there's 1,000 people, right? You need to understand that quality is your friend. Quantity is going to be a distraction, and it's going to end up killing your productivity and killing your profitability. So focus on a few good relationships. There's a great book called Referral of a Lifetime by Tim Templeton.
I love that book. I have it here.
All my clients, I love that book because it just says you can build, if you took my entire business away from me, if I had my 150 referral partners that I send snail mail to, I could rebuild my entire business. It wouldn't be a problem. So I have 150 people who know me, who love me, who trust me, and who can send me business, high-end business. And I nurture those 150 relationships like gold, because they are, right? And so I would much rather you cultivate a really close-knit community of people who love you and are fanatical about you. Because if they're fanatical about you, you don't have to worry about marketing. They're going to be doing the marketing for you. They're going to make you those introductions for you. And as somebody who does, like I sell to highly successful affluent entrepreneurs, you don't get to just find them on Facebook or connect with them on LinkedIn. You have to be introduced. You have to know somebody who knows them and can make a personal introduction. So don't worry about the mass marketing. And Bridget, you may be totally against this, but in my opinion, just try to cultivate a relationship with somebody who can get you into the right echelon, get you into the right room, and maybe it's a clubhouse room, but get you into a community with the right people. Masterminds have always been my most valuable thing. I invest $50,000 a year regularly just because I want the Rolodex of other people who pay $50,000 to grow their business, right? So it's just thinking through in a very different way about marketing and who you're going to reach out to. What was the question? I have totally forgot.
Like, I don't know what it was, but that was a mic drop moment. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, literally, and there's a reason why we say 150. We actually teach you this in the Marketing Millionaires Business Accelerator. This is actually the high net worth networking campaign where we teach you to build your network of the 150. And there's a reason for this. And not to bore you with the statistics, but for those of you who like data, there is a reason, because there was a anthropologist named Dunbar who did a lot of anthropological as well as psychological studies on human beings. And we found that at any one given time, we can only manage and maintain a list, not a list, like a consortium of 150 close relationships. And so that's the number we go to. So that's actually one of the campaigns that we teach you exactly how to do, because that's why. I mean, that's what we're all doing up here. We are all partners. And I think a lot of you work with one another now too. And I introduce you to my other partners and you introduce me to your partners. And then, it grows from there. Bridget, did you want to respond to that? Because I saw your face, and I actually know that you have a similar belief in certain things about the way that people misuse social versus for marketing to the affluent specifically versus what's really effective.
Yes. So thanks, Kelly.
No problem.
Caitlin, I'm coming for you. Sister. No, I'm totally kidding. So I agree with everything. Caitlin had to say. I am a big, Kate's dog's ready to come on.
Dog agrees with you.
It's dog time.
They broke into the
I am a big believer in both. I feel like in life and in business, the answer is almost always both. People ask me this all the time. Should I have this really high-end offer or should I have a course? Both. Should I be on Facebook or should I have a really great LinkedIn prospecting strategy? Both. I really feel like the answer is both. But what I wanted to say about the Caitlin thing, and probably what you saw in my face, Kelly, is look, there is no better way to create a one-to-many relationship than on social media. There just isn't. Would you like my proof of that? You're watching it right now. If there was no social media, if we weren't here, if we hadn't built our brands and our authority to be here with Kelly and Nathan and Kate and Caitlin, none of this would be possible. So social media and online marketing is, and I'm not trying to be contrarian, I've seen it again and again and again. It is the great equalizer. It is the best way I know to show people your heart and your mission and your vision in a one-to-many way. Now, I agree with Caitlin 1,000%. I am probably not going to come on and make a fabulous video and have someone like send me $100,000. I'm going to but it's a great way for them to know you, to see you, to know you, to love you. So when you get on the phone, which circles all the way back, when you get on the phone with them, that conversation is now the 2-minute conversation or the 10-minute conversation, or maybe the 20-minute conversation. But it's no longer like, who are you and what do you believe in? And can I trust you? They're like, I already kind of get you. Now, how can we build a relationship and work together? So I wanted to make that distinction because I think the answer is both.
I agree. And I'm going to split the difference on both of you with affluent clients, which is, I agree with everything both of you said. And so I do think I agree with you that we already know statistically and research driven that the affluent are researching you online. And the reason they're researching you online is for exactly what they said, but I'm going to say it a little bit bolder. They just want to know if you're going to be a waste of their time or not. They want to know, like, does this person, do I think that this is going to be a good investment of time? And do I believe that they potentially can solve my problem? If so, and I like what I see, because they are going to stalk you, because they'd rather spend 5 or 10 minutes stalking you and looking at your social, which is easily accessible, than waste 30 minutes on the phone call with you. So they're looking at it to make sure. And so they're looking at that social proof. They're looking to see how you come across on camera. If that's the way you're marketing your business, they're looking for all these things. But here's the other thing. If you think that you're just going to go out and dump a bunch of content into the marketplace with no strategy. I mean, look at our social media strategist here is shaking her head. If you think like, I am just going to go on a massive content rampage and dump it all out into the market without a funnel, without expert positioning, without like, and you're thinking, oh, well, I'm putting out all this content, why aren't they calling me? Then you're barking up the wrong tree. So tell them why they're barking up the wrong tree.
Oh, so you brought, I think that's to me.
I think that's also, me, but then I want Kate to weigh in on it as well.
Oh, okay, good.
I've got another question for Nathan.
Okay, good. So my super quick input is, you are barking up the wrong tree because content in and of itself is almost useless. Content without strategy is useless. I call this, you've heard people like spaghetti versus strategy. I call it the pasta prayer, because most entrepreneurs and business owners think exactly what Kelly was saying. They're like, I'm going to throw up a meme and a podcast and a video and a live and a clubhouse and a TikTok, and I'm going to throw up all this stuff. And they have zero strategy behind it. And then I call it the pasta prayer, because this is literally business owners then like, please, gods of social media, please let what I just put out bring me business. Like, this is how I see people doing their social media strategy, and it will never, ever, ever work. So those are my 2 cents. Say goodbye to the pasta prayer. Say hello to highly strategic marketing that includes a great social media strategy. Bam.
Oh, all right, Kate, what do you have to say about that? And then I want to have something for Nathan too, and I want his opinion on this.
Yeah. So to the point of like what everybody's really been saying is that every buyer is going to go look at your stuff, right? But they're not finding you from like viral, like funny cat videos, right? So like they hear about you, they go look at your things, they see if it's in alignment. They're not going to read every single thing that you say. They're not going to watch every single video that you do either. It's not like they're going to go and just veg out for hours and hours, because they don't have time for it. So when you are creating things like just like your content with video, you have to be thinking about, how do I get their initial attention? How do I keep it? But how do I not totally completely bore them? But how do I build credibility and then move them to a call? And it's really that simple. Most affluent buyers will get on a call with you, and if they like you, if they think they know what you're talking about, they've already looked at you, they're going to spend the money with you. They already know pretty much when they get on the phone if they kind of want to work with you or not. And then it's just about proving that to them. So when it comes to video, just like your content, you have to think of it from that perspective: is what is the information that I need to give to them beforehand? What objections do I need to maybe head off? How do I want to come across? How do I want to bring them in? And how do I want to prepare them for getting on the call with me? So then it's just about, hey, let's talk about the things that you're dealing with. How can I solve it? And like, how can we move forward if it sounds like a good fit? So just thinking about that in a different way than, hey, I just want to get 100,000 people to like my post or like my video. You're thinking about it from that lead perspective. How do I not only get the lead, but nurture them through the process?
I love it. I love it. Did you want to weigh in on this, Nathan? And
Yeah.
Go weigh in. And then I have another question for you about how to use the virtual assistants.
So a big thing that we did at FreeUp, because we were dealing with a lot of high clients, is as you're kind of nurturing people through the process, they might have touch points where they interact with different people of your team. And there's a wow factor too. Like we have VAs from the Philippines who do high level sales calls, but even less than that, like if they send your team an email, for example, with a question, and it takes 3 or 4 back and forth to get them the answer, or it's very clear that the VA doesn't really know what they're talking about, it can be very easy to turn off a client or lose a client that you've already closed, or not have them renew with you, depending on your situation. So it's incredibly important that you have your entire team in line on the same page, treating every customer with a white glove service. If someone says, hey, can I get this PDF, instead of giving them a link to go get it back to them in one email. Avoid the back and forth, really making it as easy as possible for them and impressing them, because they're not just going to be interacting with you. Most likely over time, they're going to make interaction with other people on your team. And if some people are treating them like top priority white glove, and other people are making them run through the hoop to get basic information, it's only going to turn people away. So that's a big thing that we focus on early on. And you never really know, I guess from my side, like we have the affluent clients, we get smaller clients too. And instead of having the VAs try to pick and choose between who's more important, it's, hey, treat everyone with that same level of service. And overall, it's going to help you.
I love it.
I just want to highlight, underline, an exclamation point, a word that Nathan used, which was easy, right? If you have just one guiding strategy that should inform your entire sales process, your entire delivery process, your entire re-enrollment and referral process, it's ease. How can you make every single step frictionless? So there is absolutely nothing stopping somebody from taking that step with you. If you have a 3-step funnel, how could you make it a 2-step funnel? If it's a 2-step funnel, right, it's Amazon. How can you make it a 1-click buy, right? So how can you make this easier and easier and easier? It's the thing that I drill into my team. How can we make this easier? How can we make this easier? How can we make this easier? Because it's just across the whole board. Internally, we talk about this from our operations perspective, and externally, anything that's client facing. How do we make this as easy and frictionless as possible every time they interact with us?
I love that. And as high touch, right? So that they're really being well taken care of. That's super important.
I have one more example off of that, and then I'll shoot you your question. So a big thing we noticed early on is a lot of the people that are very busy, that are running big businesses, they don't necessarily want to go on your calendar to book the call. Even though that's fairly easy, it's just time consuming. People are lazy. So whenever my VAs will reach out to someone, even someone like you, Kelly, they'll always say, hey, do you have a calendar that I can book on, or do you want to use Nathan's? And just kind of that reverse flip where you're just making it easy on them, whatever they want to do, whatever the option is, and throw it in their favor. That's going to get you more phone calls, get you more sales, all of that.
You know what? That right there was $1 million tip, because 100% true. Whenever someone sends me a calendar link, I like almost always will be like, just talk to my team.
Well, there's also the psychological component, because calendar links is a power play. That's really what's going on under the surface. And if you don't recognize that, you're in trouble. So my phrase that I use every time is, please feel free to send me a few dates and times that work for you, comma, Or if it's easier, here's a link to my calendar. And I say that very carefully and verbatim. It is literally a template in my Google documents because I want to take the power equation out of it. It's actually harder for them to send me dates and times that are good for them than it is for them to use my link. But I have to make that easy and take the friction, the psychological friction that comes out of that experience.
I love, and again, guys, I just want to read presence with your affluent clients. The reason why this is so important, because you are going to probably get some people with egos, but the other thing is it's a time thing.
Right.
They often have like I can tell you, even though I tend to work shorter days, I usually have like 5 minutes in between appointments. So I don't have time to do that. And you got to think about that. They probably are racked and stacked to fit in everything that they need to fit in during the day. And the easier you can make it. And we talked about this even when we talked about building their no-brainer offer suite. And I said, please, for the love of God, get an electronic signature. Do not make them download something, sign it, scan it. Everyone's like, no, my country club does that to me. And literally, I finally just told them up there, I'm like, I'm not, because I do a lot of my events, or I used to, up at the country club. And they always send me these documents that need to be printed out and signed. And I'm like, yeah, no, put it in DocuSign. Not doing it. I'm like, or you guys can come get it or something. Cause I don't have time for that. It's crazy.
But there's also like a decision fatigue thing. The busier you get, the more successful you get, the more they're making decisions all the time. If you make it just everything really simple where I don't have to go think, I don't have to expend any more like mental or emotional energy to like have this relationship or get on a call or whatever it is, I'm more likely to do it and I'm more likely to stay with you because you made my burden, whatever that is, my mental burden, even if it seems really small, those things add up. If I have to go do a ton of things just to get on a call with somebody for them to sell me something and I have to think about it a bunch and then I have to like coordinate, move things around, I'm not going to do it because it just adds to my load. So if you can just ease that piece for them, like in every single step of the way, just a little bit, it cumulatively, they'll notice the difference. And it's I never got that until I started getting crazy busy in my own business. And then I was like, now I understand. The easier the more flow I can put people in, the better, and the more people I'll be able to work with.
And do you now understand why Steve Jobs wore the exact same clothes every single day? It's like, oh yeah. I mean, if I wish I could have, I do have a uniform. It's called yoga pants, but that's a whole different story. All right. So Mr. Nathan, how can we leverage the power of qualified and trained, right? Which you teach people how to make sure that you've got the right virtual assistants in the right positions to be able to really utilize them to lead generate for affluent clientele.
Yeah, I mean,
a couple of your tips about outsourcing for that.
Yeah, so I like to kind of make outreach easy for me. So for 4 years straight, one of the main ways we grew Free Up is I woke up to a list every single morning of the contact information of 3 podcasts, 3 blogs that had a high SEO rating, 3 Facebook groups. This was before Clubhouse. It might even be 3 Clubhouse owners now, 3 potential leads, 3 influencers. And if you can just get into that consistent mindset, because what I've kind of found with big clients is there's always an element of rejection, but there's also an element of just delays too. Like the chance of you reaching out to someone and then being free that exact second isn't always the case. So for me, I'd wake up, I'd have these lists, I'd have the contact information. It would take me 10 minutes to do this outreach. And even if I did nothing else the rest of the day, I've probably done more outreach than the average entrepreneur does in a day or in a week. And you do that 5-6 days a week. Over time, a year later, you're going to look back and say, man, my website has backlinks in a lot of places. I networked with a lot of influencers. I got on a lot of podcasts, and you can tweak that however you want. If you don't want to go on podcasts, you don't have to. But making it easy for you overall is going to give you the consistency to go out there and do that outreach that a lot of people dread.
I love it. I love it. You guys, as we're wrapping up here, is there anything like one final success tip for marketing to affluent clients, as well as let everyone know where they can find you. So since Nathan is our, we'll do gentlemen first. You go first.
So to me, reputation is everything. I mean, you're all going to mess up at some point. We all make mistakes. Sometimes it's your fault. Sometimes it's your team's fault, or stuff just happens. Just make it right. Even if it costs you money, even if it costs you time, like you said, people are going to do research on you, whether you like it or not. That one bad review, that one time that you didn't make it right can come back to bite you. So first of all, you should have integrity and do ethical things to begin with. But when something goes not your way, make sure you fix it and you go above and beyond so that person has nothing negative to say to you. And if you live your life and your business by that rules, it's only going to help you going forward.
I love it. And where can people find you? And we also have links, guys, to Outsource School if you are interested in. Let me just tell you, I wish to God that I had this a bazillion years ago, because it would have saved me a load of time. Shall we just, do you have something you want to?
Yeah, go to outsourceschool.com. You can actually book a call right on the website with my Rockstar VA team and take it from there and see if it's a good fit for you.
Awesome. Perfect. Caitlin.
I'm trying to think through, because there's so many different things. For me, I think it always comes back to confidence. When you're speaking to an affluent person and you want to sell them, it's really going to come back to confidence. And I don't mean a false candy coating shell of bravado. I mean, like, rooted in the ground, completely unshakable faith in yourself, God, and the universe, that this is going to work for them, right? And so every time you're approaching a sales call, what I train my people and my clients and everybody who works with me is, sales is an act of love and service. So every person you're meeting is a real human being. And if you can listen to them and love them and serve them, you will win 100% of the time. Because even if that person doesn't pay you money, they might be the person who connects you to somebody who can pay you money. So don't be afraid to give too much on a sales call, but you really have to be grounded in your own confidence, your competence, your ability to produce results, and to provide integrity, as Nathan hinted at, right? You need to show up 100% in everything that you're doing. If you need support around building that confidence or speaking articulately about what you're doing, we would love for you to come into bookofexperts.com. You can set up a free directory listing. It'll say login, but it's actually where you sign up also. But you can set up your own profile, and it just allows you to get found by people who want podcast guests, who want to feature experts in press releases, things like that. So it's a great way for you to build your authority on the internet. And then we have weekly networking where it's for free. You just get to come and practice your elevator pitch and get better and better at articulating what makes you unique and the preferred choice for people who want to hire you in your industry.
It's very cool, guys. They hosted me as an expert and it was amazing. It was really fun. So go check it out.
Thanks, Kelly.
Awesome. Miss Bridget.
Yes. So this is what's coming to me in this moment for you. Begin it now. Mm-hmm. So imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. I feel like we've heard so many genius ideas here today, but like thinking about video doesn't bring you clients. Thinking about social media doesn't bring you clients. Thinking about making sales calls doesn't make you clients, or doesn't bring you clients. And I'm not saying throw like everything we've said is true and it's valuable and it's critical. And I'm not saying throw strategy out the window and go back to pasta prayer on everything. But what I am saying is begin it now. Like dive in. That the 10,000 hour thing, the 10,000 hours thing is real. It doesn't happen overnight. Wherever you are in your business, you are likely not going to go from like $100,000 in revenue to $5 million in revenue, right? It's gonna be a process, and that process happens by doing. The power comes from the doing. The power does not come from the thinking about the doing. So I don't know why I was told to tell you that. So I'm channeling. It has almost nothing to do with social. Just do it.
Find you, Miss Bridget.
Yes. So you can find me everywhere on social media, go figure, at Amp Up My Biz. So everywhere on social, I'm Amp Up My Biz. On Clubhouse, I'm Bridget Brady, because that's how Clubhouse rolls. And then you can also go to my website, ampupmybiz.com. And of course, I have a plethora of freebies and fabulousness for you to get to know me better. And then we can go from there. But Amp Up My Biz, I'm everywhere.
Perfect. 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 And Miss Kate.
So it's kind of in line with what Bridget was saying, is that sometimes you just have to try things and not throwing spaghetti at the wall, but just stepping forward and being okay with being imperfect. And part of the process of, and this is just as an entrepreneur in general, but it applies to probably everything that we're all talking about, there's a ton of failure that comes with it. And you will think it's this is going to destroy my business and my reputation, and I'm never going to recover because I said this dumb thing on video, or I, did this, this one launch and it totally bombed, or the sales call went so awful. And all of it goes away. Like all of it, you'll look back on it and you'll probably laugh if you can even remember it. But that's part of the process. You can't get better at something or progress in it or move past something or grow unless you had all of those stumbles and made all those mistakes and maybe looked bad in certain things. I look back at the videos that even I used to make and I'm just like, oh my gosh, but I keep them up because I can refer to them now. I'd be like, well, look at my hot mess of self in these videos, so I've been there. It's the same thing with every single piece of your business. And especially when you're going after affluent clients, you sometimes think like you have to be perfect and you have to be this perfect person to get to work with people. And what I find is affluent people are like everybody else, and they get you and they understand that like you're going to make mistakes and there's going to be things that aren't super great, but you're going to build this relationship. You're going to provide them a ton of value. You're willing to show up the day after you made a mistake and keep at it. So as you learn and as you fumble and as you fall, just know that it's part of the process, and we've all done it a lot, some more than others. And that you're going to get back up if you allow yourself to keep on going.
I love it. I love it. And also, guys, where can they reach out to you?
Oh, yes. So Kate Schnetzer, it's awful to spell, but it's in the thing. That's where I'm on all social media platforms. But if you want to go to my website, a real quick redirect is Video with Kate, K with a T. And you can check out all my work and what we do. And let's connect and talk more about geeking over about video. I can't even talk today. Let's talk about video.
Awesome. Yeah. So you guys make sure that you connect with these lovelies. They are all here in the Marketing Millionaires Success Circle. If you do choose to work with them, make sure that you let them know that we sent you, because they've got some extra little yummies for you when that is the case. And so do we. And then also, if you are in the Marketing Millionaires Business Accelerator, you've got access to these experts, not for them to just provide you countless hours of free consulting, but they are there to help guide the way. They are there to answer, a question. I have them on frequently as, for live Q&As or to teach certain subjects. In fact, Bridge, I got to schedule something with you. And, they're really supportive of one another. My lasting tip for you as we roll out of this segment and we move on to what's next is, it's so important that you surround yourself with experts. There is not one of us here that has built our business by ourselves, right? Like it at all. Oh, in fact, again, a lot, like I've hired multiple of my experts. I'm about to hire other of my experts. I, put my team through Nathan's training. You've got to get support for where you are. And so again, I want to make the invitation to you that if you are looking for support from me, from my team, from the community, and from experts like these awesome human beings, please do come and check out the Marketing the Millionaires Business Accelerator. You can reach out to your Profit Concierge and we'll get all your questions answered to make sure that it is the right fit for you. I want to thank you guys all for being here today. This was awesome. Every time we do an experts call, I'm like, yes, these are so much fun. So I want to thank you guys for being here today. And until next time, guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Andy.